So advertising is being channeled towards women
targeting
because
women.
they are going to make emotional decisions. They're going to buy a car, or they're going to buy this thermos because it's red. They're going to buy a thermos because it's red.
Because I like the color.
And this thermos has been designed by civil engineers. It's a metallic thermos, so it works. So when I get it, I know that feminism was pushed on by corporations back in the day, not for the purposes of freeing women. It was for the purposes of selling more cigarettes. Because selling cigarettes was seen as a symbol of...
it was masculine mostly.
Of nini, kenye wewe unaweza fanya, mimi naweza fanya. Unaona? So nyinyi mnaendelea kupigania your rights in the background, but the corporations are...
The real agenda.
The agenda is the corporations. The corporations want to make money. They want to make money from this thing. It's not about male spaces. It's about encouraging people to be in fights so that they can sell things. Everything that is masculine is toxic.
Yeah.
Just give it time. Give it time. Moto inaweza choma nyumba yako na inaweza kupikia pia. It depends on how you use it. The same thing with this thing called masculinity. It depends on how you use it. But now, if you decide that my friend's house burnt down, we have banned all fire to be used in our community. You see how stupid it is? Ujinga. But that is what, once feminism wins, what does it win?
I saw that recommendation, but I'm yet to watch it.
Yeah.
About PLO.
He asked that question.
Yeah.
It was a very important question. Once they win, what do they win? They know they are lying. Do you know how many bad sexual experiences women have in their lives? Mediocre sex. Salafu wewe unakuja hapo kwa room unatry kuambia ati wewe ni Casanova fulani, wewe unafaa kwa Pornhub. Kwenda huko unatuambia nini?
So like tumefikia as men, we should never try to blame women for how fucked up we are. For example, if I marry a woman who constantly puts me into pressure and bear stress, nini, I'm not supposed to sit kwa kikao ya maboy and then they ask me, "Hey manze, siku hizo nakuanga tu hauna furaha, uko na huzuni nini." And then I start blaming my wife. Unajua bibi yangu ananifanyanga you're a bitch.
Yeah.
You're a bitch. Why are you blaming a woman for your own disease? So guys, there've been a lot of men have been complaining of late. Spaces zao zimejaa madem. Maboys wanasema saizi hakuna place wanaweza enda wakae wapige tu story wakiwa comfortable, wakiwa free, because everywhere they look there's always women. Unajua not only women, like unaangalia hapa nyash, unaangalia pale boobs, unaangalia pale another nyash. Yaani nyash everywhere. So in your experience, what do you like, do you have spaces zenye previously ulikuwanga unaenda unapata tu ni maboy but siku hizi ni madem tu ndio wamejaa?
Yeah, spaces zimekuwa invaded tukiongea juu vitu kama barber shop, places kama places za burudani. Kama huko kwetu Ocha ulikuwa unapatanga kuna ile nyungu. Wazee walikuwa wanaenda kukaa chini alafu wanasema ati palipo na wazee paribiki jambo. Lakini siku hizi unapata wamama ndio sasa wamekuwa wazee nini. Lakini nafikiria pia hizo spaces wakiweza kukuja ndani, nafikiria ni ile design welcome kidogo, lakini hao wakatafuta position kwa hiyo places. Wakatafuta kakiti. Unajua kuna kuwaga na kiti. So wakati walitafuta kakiti, now men pia wakakuwa reluctant, hawakuweza kufahamu ni what is exactly going to happen in future. Unajua unaweza karibisha mtu ukifikiria na come to stay for a moment, but utapata amestay for long.
Anakuja na overstay. What about you, Ashira? Kuna vile una feel spaces zetu manze ziko under threat?
Well, the way I see it is what you said, it has reminded me a story about Nini. I used to have this employer who was not a very good employer. But you can always get a good quote from even a bad book. Aliniambia ati ukiweka shetani ikikuja kwa nyumba yako, akwambia anataka nyumba yako peke yote, anakuambia anataka tukale kama msumari ya kuhang picha pale. Alafu anakuja anaweka kitu hapo. Lakini hiyo kitu inanuka. So inaharibu nyumba yako yote. Na tu ni msumari pekee umempatia. Basically the idea of sitting down and complaining that men's spaces are being invaded, yes, they are being invaded, and they are being financed to be invaded. It's not just the barber shops, it's in everything. It's in corporate. Corporate are financing the destruction of things. So kwa sababu ya kitu umama, inakuwa tu umama, hakuna njia nyingine ya kuidiscuss.
So na feel ni kama ni wanaume ndio wako na umama,
ni wanaume wako na umama,
so ana end up let women into their spaces.
A woman is a person who is intrusive by nature. She cannot help herself. You're just supposed to understand her the way she is. Unaona? Even you when you are sitting down, unaanza kusema spaces at barber shop. Unaona barber shop pekee anajaribu kuingilia. Anajaribu kuingilia hata akili yako. Wewe umekaa tu chini kwa kiti umeng'edhia tu, you're just minding your own business. Nini unafikiria? Are you asking me what I am thinking? Even in your head.
She's trying to take a space in your head.
Even in your head. Wanipata? Even in your head. So unaona, it's in our nature. You remember that story about the story about the frog and the scorpion, where the scorpion wants to cross the river.
Yes,
and he tells the frog, for those who don't know, he tells the frog, please can I hitchhike on your back, and you swim across the river. And then the frog says, hey, but you will kill me.
You're not to sting.
You will sting me and kill me. And I say, no, if I sting you and kill you, you will both drown and die. So he says, okay, climb on board. He starts swimming, he gets to the middle of the river, and the scorpion stings the frog. And the frog turns to the scorpion and tells him, why have you killed us? And the scorpion says, I can't help it. It's in my nature. Once you realize it's in her nature, whether it's your girlfriend or whoever it is, even if it's in your mother, it is your responsibility to stop it. Otherwise, ikishaingia, that's it. Usianze kucomplain baadaye.
So nasema it's in women's nature to just be intrusive.
It's not a bug, it's a feature for them, because they can't solve their problems through violence or through force. They solve it through communication.
So you mentioned the story of boardrooms, kakumbuka. Andrew Kibe has been complaining a lot that the boardroom spaces in the corporate, they have been filled with women, and in turn, these women are frustrating the men that are under them. What do you think about that?
See, it's financed. You see, it's financed. You see, like for instance, during the 2022 World Cup final was probably the greatest sporting spectacle I've ever witnessed. As in kitu, I watched the entire game standing up. But I get into this argument with this lady. She's arguing that the amount of money the men are getting paid is too much. So I ask her, like, okay, who are these people who are getting paid too much? Ati Messi is being paid more than the top 3,000 women on the planet in football. Sindio? Nikamwambia, then tell me the top 10 women on the planet. Because she knew the top 10 men.
But she doesn't know who are the top 10 women.
Unaona? Even she's already going into kusumbua kazi ya watu wengine instead of focusing on her own work. Nikamwambia, we nyamaza, hakuna mtu ana watch ball yenyu. Si ndio? Na urelax. Kuna industries ziko dominated by men, which is actually a majority, and there are industries which are dominated by women.
By women.
Of which you can't do anything about it. It doesn't matter how beautiful you are as a man. You're never going to earn more than a female model. It's never going to happen. Because people don't like looking at men. No matter unless uko na Lamborghini uko hapo nyuma yako. So anipata. So when it comes to corporate, then the major companies in the world, like the BlackRocks and the Vanguard and all these companies which are the major financiers of the planet, they have stake in everything. They have stake in YouTube, probably in YouTube. They have stake in Google. They have stake in Microsoft. They have stake in everything, and they command where it's going to go. And they've already done a projection, but by the year 2030, the 45% of their Western population of women will be single and childless. And if you give $1 million shillings to a woman and you give $1 million shillings to a man, it's very different. Because me, I know people who are earning in US dollars, clean in 6 figures and over. I've met them. I've sat down with them. I've had drinks with them on a church now and stuff, Cindy, because probably you have a family relation or some other set of relation. Unaingia kwa hao yake, he has one sofa, a small carpet, and a big-ass TV screen, and a music system, and probably an Xbox. But the rest of the house is empty. Cindy, my friend, there's no such way a woman is going to live like that. So advertising is being channeled towards women
targeting
because they are going to make emotional decisions. They're going to buy a car, or they're going to buy this thermos because it's red. They're going to buy a thermos because it's red.
Because I like the color.
And this thermos has been designed by civil engineers. It's a metallic thermos, so it works. So when I get it, I know that it will.
So, and for you, you have
function.
valid reasons why you're going to get it.
But her, she's going to buy it. I have an ex-girlfriend
because of how it makes her feel.
Nishaimrudisha Jumia because she was returning speakers that didn't work because I asked her, like, why did you buy them? She said, because they were red. Nikamwambia, that's not a reason for buying something. Wanipata. So it's been done before. Feminism was pushed on by corporations back in the day, not for the purposes of freeing women, it was for the purposes of selling more cigarettes. Because selling cigarettes was seen as a symbol of...
it was masculine mostly.
Of nini, kenye wewe unaweza fanya, mimi naweza fanya. Unaona? So nyinyi mnaendelea kupigania your rights in the background, but the corporations are...
The real agenda.
The agenda is the corporations. The corporations want to make money. They want to make money from this thing. It's not about male spaces. It's about encouraging people to be in fights so that they can sell things. They don't care.
It's like they're trying to erase the existing structures. Ikweni kama anything goes, so that now they can market whatever they have to. Like now a broader...
The man is order. The woman is chaos.
Chaos, yeah.
That's why the woman gives birth. You don't know what's coming out of this woman. The woman is the source of this nature and creativity. Sindio? But the father is the father of time. He's the father of structure. Ile kiti ni ya mzee. Hakuna mtu anakalia isipokuwa mzee. Mzee anasema hivi ndio tunafanya na hivi ndio tutafanya. Sindio? Yeah. There's no arguing about it. Sinaona. These two things need to be together because mzee akisema hiki tutafanya, he cannot say mtu mwingine azaliwe na mtu mwingine azaliwe bila the woman. So we are better together than we are apart.
Yes.
But it's easier to control the women. Because even if you invade a country, who are going to resist you? It's not going to be the women. It's going to be the men.
The men.
So Ngoja, in a nutshell, you kind of feel like women being in spaces previously assumed to be men's spaces, you feel like there's an agenda to push them into that direction.
Yeah,
that is
clearly.
not something that is coming from them willingly. They're
No,
just
it's in them. The nature is in them. It's like you have a candle that's burning.
Yeah.
It's providing light. Nikichukua petroli niimwagie, if I take gasoline and pour on it, it's no longer light.
Yeah.
It's now a problem.
Yes.
Wanipata. So it's also like men. They can use their violence to protect people and to keep the peace.
They can still use the violence.
Or they can use it to hurt people.
Cause mayhem, yeah.
Now the focus is on these people they can manipulate because we are living in the best times ever. We don't. If you are hungry, you can call somebody and food is delivered to your house. If you want to go somewhere, you can just go to an app and it can give you a very fair price. Sindio? You can go to a supermarket where there is more variety of food than any of our ancestors ever witnessed in their entire lives. Kuna anything you want. If you wanted to warm, if you want to warm food, ocha, you have to light a fire. You just throw it in the microwave. 60 seconds it's ready. There are so many conveniences that the use for Lumbaga to be good at fighting is no longer required. So they switch to the women.
And also, I can mention something, women, I heard people normally say what a man can do, a woman can do it better.
Can they pee in a bottle?
But maybe it is not that true.
Can they pee in a bottle?
Or can they,
It's a very
can
stupid.
Can
it's
they
a very
walk around without a shirt?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I really hate that statement.
So, in the earlier days, this is what used to happen. A place of a woman was in the kitchen. When we used to have we have daughters of this family and sons of these families, there were some kind of jobs that men could do. But there was some kind of jobs only women could do.
Yeah.
And that is what he has mentioned about modeling and everything of that kind. But in our older days when we were growing, you can see our sisters in the kitchen trying to help mom to fix something, and then the boys will sit with dad somewhere, and they will be discussing men stuff.
Yeah.
But nowadays, our sisters, they are not in the kitchen. They are no longer in the kitchen.
Yes, true.
So they have to join us and interrupt us. Because where will they be? For example, I am at
so you're saying, okay, if I'm sorry to cut you short, but if I'm getting you correctly, unasema kuna vile technology imekam ikatake away responsibilities zenye zilikuwa previously zinafanywa na wasichana. So it's like they're idle.
It's like they're
so now they're like wanapata they're bored, so now they have to get into these spaces. It reminds me like kitambo tumekuwa na tunajonga tu like history za kufua manguo nini then washing machine ikakam. But right now even women who cannot afford the washing machines are affording to pay mamafua. So you find that a woman lives by herself, but she cannot do her own laundry.
She cannot do her
so
own.
On the weekend when she's free, she would rather call someone to come and do hizo vitu zote za nyumba, oshe nguo, amoshe nyumba, yeye wacha aende falipupa. So mimi but then mara yangu ya kwanza kuencounter such type of a woman, I was so surprised because it happened to be a woman that I was dating at the time.
Alikuwa anajua kupika?
Mimi nacheki anajua kupika. Anajua kupika. Mimi nilikuwa naona tumechill na yeye home on a weekend, someone is coming over to do our clothes, our laundry. Yet wewe umejuanga hii kazi tu yenye tutafanya na yeye juu me if I'm dating you or if you're my woman and not overwhelmed, I don't mind helping you do house chores. So mimi kwa mind yangu nishajua she'll be washing, I'll be ile nikaa vile unaweza bond na dem yako. Naosha, unakamua, unanika, unamspank kidogo nini. So I was expecting kitu kaa hiyo. Hivyo only to see a big ass woman.
Unakumbuka ile msumari nilikuwa nakwambia? It starts off with good intentions. It starts off with good intentions. Ndio. But she's not going to divide the work that you're doing with her. She wants you to divide the work that she's doing with you. It's not the other way around. If you're driving the car, ipate puncture, you're the one who's going to change it.
Okay.
Unanipata? Hata balbia hao ni wewe utabadilisha, my friend. So Kenya nasema, what I'm trying to say is that these spaces, you mentioned like subtle spaces like barber shops and like, but barber shops pia I can understand because of hairstyles are like changing. So you find women like, of which mina kwanganiki appreciate more that they can get a haircut rather than putting those weaves. Those things are just despicable.
Yeah.
But kila mtu na kila nyani na starehe zake.
No, but now let's go back to what he was saying about your story. Technology imeteka a lot of responsibility from women's plate. So now it's like they're kind of idle. Hey, go continue that kind of.
Those days I normally remember the days back in the days because I had privilege, though I'm from this generation, but I had a privilege to experience the past because in our home we are kind of even if you visit our homeland, you'll notice tuko nyuma bado kiasi.
Okay.
Hatujapdate hata ukienda western unapata side za kwetu ndio people they are not now they are catching up with some traditions za western ama everything of that kind. But I remember those days, the days that we used to sit somewhere with dad and his my uncles, my cousins to my dad, and then they will tell us a story about their past. Okay, what they used to do, how they used to party, and everything of that kind. But the work of our sisters, they were there just in the kitchen, maybe washing utensils, maybe doing whatever. But when we talk about that, I remember there were certain jobs that we used to do. Kama kwenda kupasua kuni, that is a man's job.
Yeah.
Kama kwenda kupatia ng'ombe maji na kufanya kitu fulani ama kuzilisha, that is a work that belongs to men. And when we used to go for kuchunga ng'ombe ama kupeleka ng'ombe malishoni, boys work, you go there, you talk your stuff.
Also, you could also be hunting at the same time.
Yeah, hunting at the same time. But nowadays, things have changed. Even men, I can surprise you, even some men, they're invading women's space too.
Now those are the problem. And those are the problem.
Who tell us more about these men that are invading women's spaces?
There are some kind of men, they love sitting close to women, talking to women, and everything of that kind. So it is not bad.
Amani history, I've seen, when you go to town, in the streets, there are these men who are always calling out for passers-by, especially women. They want to fix their nails.
And whatever.
You're in commerce.
No, mostly it's men doing that, by the way. Like, just speak to any random lady, muulize makucha yake yeye utengezewa na nani? Atakwambia yeye utengenezwa na makucha zake utengenezwa na a man. And then look for women who have locks. They'll tell you that the person who fixes their locks is actually a guy.
Yeah,
so I don't know if these are the people.
But it's not those guys.
But you see, even if you say not that those guys, but back in the days, there is no way a man
will sit in a salon ati anapaka dem makucha.
Even your own dad could look at you and tell you, "Are you going crazy?"
You have a point.
Yeah. There are some certain things that we could not do, like coming to your fellow men and then you are putting on a perfume. Back in the days, you will hear people asking you, who's that smelling like a woman? Yeah? Okay? So the more we advance...
Director umesikia? Wewe unapenda kupaka hapa marashi.
The more we advance, watu wameanza kuimpress vitu, wameanza kusema, okay, we can mix these things. Hata saizi ndio unaona back in the day when I was growing, ulikuwa tunaweza nywa box hivi, umequalify kuitwa gaidi mkubwa sana. But nowadays even the ladies, they do it. Okay? So I think the invasion is being caused by the time that we are existing in. A lot of things have changed. When you see a man ameenda salon anashuka nywele, you can understand a lot has changed.
Kwa hivyo unasema ni kama zile vitu tulikuwa tumekataza, like nyinyi hamfai kufanya hii, but now ni kama society imelegeza kidogo.
The society is genuine.
Imelegeza juu saizi. I was looking at director jana. Kuna photoshoot alikuwa ameenda, so when he came back I was looking at the pictures and the videos he had taken. And he was telling me, manze, squeezy kwani kwa ghetto wasichana wote wako na watoto, like young girl, it's like every chick there has given birth with sketchy baby daddies. But then kitu ili catch attention yangu, there was a guy, he is not older than that guy is not older than 17 years old. He's gay. He's gay. Alikuwa amevaa vest fulani na iko na lace kama ile material ya kamisi. So kitu ilikuwa inani surprise ni squeeze hadi kwa ghetto unaweza identify freely as a gay man. And nothing is done to you.
You know
like they were taking photographs. The women, the way ladies take photos wakiwa wanajaribu kuonyesha ass towards the picture, I mean the camera.
He's
Even
doing
the guy is also doing like pia ameface nini anapigwa picha kwa matako, and I was nilikuwa jiuliza maswali mob sana juu I understand such kind of things zinaweza kwa tolerated in slightly high end locations or communities, but in the ghetto
Unajua, there's a guy who told me something back in the day, and I agreed. Alisema, when you look at American black community, most of them ndo walianza na history ya kutoboa masikio na nini na mapua na kushuka nywele. And then he said, you can think that is a swag. No, because these guys were growing when their fathers were absent.
Yes.
So they used to see their moms only. Yeah. You know, like one day, my baby mama told me that she want to put a dreadlock on my 2-year-old head. I told him, if you do that, you will see fire.
But I don't see any problem with that.
No. For me, as a person,
like as an African, personally, I would prefer if my children just retain their hair from birth, like you say,
we might have a different opinion, but it depends with how I was raised.
Yes.
And when I was raised, I had to choose something.
Yes.
You see, like my dad used to tell me, keep your hair short,
and
because a
neat.
Man. You don't take a lot of time on your head.
Or even on your appearance.
You don't have to take a lot of time. You have to keep your hair. My dad used to tell me every now and then.
Babangu pia, he used to tell me, as a man, cha muhimu ni bora umeoga. That's number 1.
Ni mwanaume wa power.
Umeoga. Number 2, nguo zako ni safi. That was enough.
Because
that was enough. Whether hizo nguo zimepigwa pasi or not, nguo yako si ni safi. Si wewe mwenyewe umeoga. That to him that was enough. But unajua saa madhendi alikuwa zile za no, lazima mtoto wa iron.
It's a factor of who is in leadership in the community. It's not just humans. Men need to be in leadership. Not all men. Because most men will end up being soldiers. So let's say 20% of men. A man's life is a life of disappointment and failure. Because who is the fastest man on the planet?
Is a man.
Is a
Bolt,
man.
Yeah.
It's Bolt.
Yeah.
Who is the second fastest man on the planet?
It's also a man.
Who
some
is
guy
he?
called Gay. Is it Gay?
Is it? You didn't say, is it Bolt?
It's not Bolt, but there's also another.
When I asked you number 1,
I said it's Bolt.
Wanipata? First man to do this, you'll remember. First man on the moon, you'll remember. First man to do
discover.
This.
Even discoveries are done by men.
Snona. So, for a man's life, inakwanga, it's either you're number 1 or you number 2 is the first loser. It's a very hard life. Snona. But we need those number 1s for them to direct
The rest.
The rest.
Yes.
We need them. And we need to toe the line in terms of when we are going to hunt a buffalo and we're doing something, there's somebody who is, kuna Messi kwa team, na Messi amesema tunafanya hivi, tunafanya. Otherwise, nani ni mnoma kumuliko kwa hiyo team? Hakuna. You just have to understand.
Yeah.
For women, on the other hand, it's a community thing. Everybody gets to say what they feel. Everybody gets to share their opinion. Everybody gets to share their ideas. Sindio? It's nice for distribution of resources, but it's not good for
growth and advancement.
That's why I say we are better together than we are apart. So once the men gather the resources, the women can distribute them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the way we've survived for centuries. Yeah. Now, look at animals that are matriarchal. Not just
we have animals that are matriarchal.
They are bonobo monkeys are matriarchal. So bonobo monkeys have some of the highest rates of homosexuality in primates. Wanipata? And it's not uncommon for homosexuality to thrive in areas where the women are determining what's going to go on, sindio?
It's true.
And I'm saying this with a person who has worked with the gay people, because in the art industry, it's almost something you can't avoid. They're there. Wako wengi sana. It's not like engineering when unaingia unapata kila mtu mkono zake zimekuwa black juu ya kushikilia oil. It's not the same thing. So your leadership ni important son. That's why I keep on going back to the fact that for men's spaces.
So you feel like juu kusema kweli, I don't have the exact statistics, but we do histories za kwanza kuona gay people, especially men, tuliona mostly with the Western countries, and it's to be specific, the America.
Yeah, gynocentric societies. Gynocentric societies.
And then pale in America, it was again bado iko kwa wingi kwa the black community. So are we trying to say that lack of men in this community, African Americans in the state,
yeah, because they were incentivized to separate from their fathers.
Are we linking gayism or homosexuality to the absence of fathers in society?
Yeah, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid, because they'll say that it's people are born that way.
I've had people.
That's a popular thing, sindio? So you're born gay, sindio? It's the same thing as when we were talking with a friend of mine. She was telling me that about transgender people and the way that's the way they are and whatnot, sindio? And I asked her a simple question: if you cut off your leg and you put the leg of a horse, do you become a horse?
No.
So no. It's just basic common sense. Kuna something that's going on here. There's this lesbian. She's lesbian and she's an academic. Her name starts with a P or something.
She's a lesbian and she's an academic.
And the lesbians don't like her because she was trying to explain that going that way or going gay or going, it's not something you're born into. It's an adaptation to how you grew up. So she became very unpopular for actually saying that. She said, I'm this way because I adapted to how I was raised.
I really like to know who she is. Kitu najua ni pia
I'll share the name and then director anaweza weka hapo kwa nini kwa hiyo hapo chini tu andike tu jina yake, but I'll find her.
Okay.
So Kenya nasema ni kwa, we were speaking about this before the podcast started. I mentioned about how my community, the Kikuyu community, is a community in Kenya that has the least amount of, like, let's say, culture that is native to their own. Sindio?
Yeah.
It's not uncommon to find Mkikuyu ajui lugha yake. It's kwanza in metropolitan places. It's not uncommon.
And the way I always think ati Wakikuyu wote wanapenda lugha yao na
Wasomali ndio wanapenda lugha yao. Unajua Wasomali wangapi hawajui Kisomali? Wanipata? Na Wasomali wana grow up kwa hizo nyumba zenye ziko na system fulani. So the easiest way to, and it's been done, the British did it to the Kikuyus, separated the fathers from the families. The Spanish did it in South America, where they forced the toughest men in the society to wear dresses and even castrated some of them, because they knew the only way to break up these people from their culture, ile kiti ni ya mzee. Hakuna mtu anakalia hiyo kiti na hakuna kuuliza maswali mbona hiyo kiti haikaliwi na mtu mwingine. Sinaona that's a very masculine trait, si ndio? That's a very masculine trait, sindio? Now remove these people and say that everything that is masculine is toxic.
Yeah.
Just give it time. Give it time. Moto inaweza choma nyumba yako na inaweza kupikia pia. It depends on how you use it. The same thing with this thing called masculinity. It depends on how you use it. But now, if you decide that my friend's house burnt down, we have banned all fire to be used in our community. You see how stupid it is? But that is what is being pushed. Because just the way they were looking to sell more cigarettes, they are looking to sell more pillows. This is a tip for people who like investing. by 2030, invest your money in products which are mostly gynocentric. Gynocentric is going towards women. Sindio, pet food, boxed wine, pet accessories. You see these conveniences, sindio? Because wanaume wengi wako na 4 pairs of shoes, a sports shoe, sandals, official, na ingine moja anapenda kuliko kitu ingine yote. But you can find an entire room of shoes, ama an entire drawer of shoes for women, sindio? So that's the commercialism they are going for, and they are very, very short-sighted in looking at this, because it's going to bring in a lot of problems. Because okay, then PLO on his podcast, PLO Lumumba was asking a question. Now, once feminism wins, what does it win?
I saw recommendation, but I'm yet to watch it.
Yeah.
About PLO.
He asked that
feminism.
question.
Yeah,
It was a very important question. Once they win, what do they win? Because now they've gone so chaos that now they are castrating their own children. In the Western societies, they're castrating their own children.
Yeah.
Sindio? And now it has become the snake that's swallowing its own tail.
Yeah. Someone just decides to raise their son as a woman.
As a
from
woman.
A very,
Sindio? And they even
from an age where the kid
and they
cannot
even,
make
and they
his
even
decisions.
chemically castrate them. And they want to bring that here. Because Kenya is the 51st state of America. Yeah? So, I don't want to lose this thread. So, they push an idea that jamani mbaya. Na ukishamtoa, ushachoma kila kitu. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And that's why I go back to that example of that nail. It's up to the men to realize that they are part of the problem by standing still. They are part of the problem. We are part of the problem by standing still. Standing still and let this chaos take over. Yeah, you've said that these men who are going into women's spaces, that is the biggest problem, because the moment I'll give a popular example. The moment those twins in Kenya were accused of beating their girlfriend, the moment Amber Heard accused her husband of, and she was cheating on his bed. Yeah.
Johnny Depp.
Because think about it. If you do to your wife, you stab your wife and cut off a bit of his finger with a broken bottle, you beat her up, sindio, and you shit on her bed, and you force her to live in the toilet because she's afraid of you. What kind of man are you?
An emasculated man.
You are a very cruel man if you are going to do that to your wife. Sindio, those are the things that that lady.
So like if she is the one doing that to me, or I'm the one doing the same to her. No, if I'm doing those to her, society is going to look at me as a very cruel.
It just moves on.
Yeah, they look at me as a
She's
beast.
in the next movie. She's still working. Sindio. This other guy has lost like $50 million. Sindio.
Yeah.
He's jobless right now. So it's very it's garbage. It's garbage all round.
So which barber shop? The barber shop that you go to, does it have women, or it's just purely men?
I have like 2 I go to. Yeah, the other one has women to wash the head and whatever. The man is doing the shaving alone.
Okay.
And the other one doesn't have a woman.
So me, I have 2, and both of them do not have any woman. And I like it that way, because when the barber is working on my head, we can always, the way men we talk so recklessly. So there I don't have to watch what I'm saying. I feel like I'm free. We can, like, everybody has a fetish. So as a man, naweza jipata nasema mi napenda madem matako inakaa hivi unacheki. So assuming I'm in a barber shop that also has ladies who also work there, probably they are fixing people's dreadlocks or washing people's heads after wamemaliziwa na the guy. So you can imagine there's a lady who is there na hana matako kubwa. And then mimi niko hapa, I'm talking with this barber shop, how I like them big and stuff like that. So unaona already, unaona,
You're bringing chaos on
I'm
top.
bringing chaos, but I'm just being honest. This is, so nakuuliza hivyo ndio nijue, wewe ukienda kwa hiyo barber shop yenye iko na mpaka wasichana, do you feel free to just talk about anything ukiwa hapo, ama you have to measure what you say?
No. You can't just talk anything. Yeah, you can't just speak anything. You just go there purposely on business. Even the whole shaving will go on.
No, but
on a silent mode.
But my point is,
But
this used to be places where men would go as they get their hair cut.
Yeah.
They talk about things that are happening in
the society.
Madem.
Back in the day tulikuwa tunasema naenda kwa ile kinyozi kusoma gazeti.
Saizi unaona, right now you can't do that.
Right now hata ukienda kuchunguza utapata magazeti yazikuagi kwa hizo nini.
Wameka zile drum pulse magazine zile kwa drum za mama.
There's something you've mentioned about like you want to speak freely, but you cannot when they're there.
Yeah.
Sindio?
Yeah.
This is very instinctive of men. Because kawe mwanaume unaelewa kuna vitu kuna words unasema, kuna vitu unasema, they're just as hurtful to those women as if it's like punching a man.
Yeah.
So you start either saying half truths or lies.
Yeah.
And I've seen this personally. There was an experience we had in our studio where I just walked in and people were chatting and they were talking about sex. And all the guys in that room were lying. They were lying, all of them.
Yeah.
They were saying all these things that women want to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were saying all these things.
They were not being honest.
They were not being honest.
Yeah.
So me, I'm just standing there. Because it's a small room, so not everybody can be seated. I'm standing by the door and I'm listening to this nonsense. And I was lucky.
So they were saying how they like how to lick it.
They were saying how, exactly. They were saying, and I haven't met a man who actually likes it.
Likes to lick.
They do it for the purposes of the woman.
Yeah.
So that's by the way. So I'm just standing there listening to this nonsense. Nikaanza kuangalia, all these people are lying. So you just throw a spanner in the works because they expect you to say something. Mimi nikaambia, I really don't care what she likes or not. Sindio?
Yeah.
I still hit it though. Mimi nafanya kenye mimi nataka kufanya. May have fun.
Yes.
Sindio? I am the roller coaster. Get on board of the roller coaster. Sindio? Don't start telling the roller coaster turn left, turn right. Me, I do what I want.
Yes.
You're going to enjoy what I enjoy. You're going to enjoy what I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I was throwing just a spanner in the works. And then this lady who's at the corner there, in the corner of my eye, I can see her nodding. I can see her nodding. Sindio?
So it's like she's agreeing with what you're saying, but
the women, they are not. Don't think that they are going to fall for those.
I know.
They don't fall for it.
I don't know. I was going to
they
tell
don't
you.
fall for that.
They
nonsense.
just make the story to
I
go.
was going
They
to
just know. They know they are lying. Do you know how many? Do you know how many bad sexual experiences women have in their lives? Mediocre sex. Salafu wewe unakuja hapo kwa room unatry kuambia ati wewe ni Casanova fulani, wewe unafaa kuwa Pornhub. Kwenda huko unatuambia nini?
So like I was saying, mimi nikiwa kwa hizo spaces zenye I have to constantly watch what I'm saying or how I say them. I always feel like I'm not the authentic me. So na struggle sana kufit into such spaces, and it's one of the reasons why nikijua hii kinyozi kona wameintroduce wasichana wa kuoshaosha watu vichwa na kufanya hizo massage za sijui za shingo na nini. I look for another barber shop.
Tabu, you're in the podcast game. Which is the biggest podcast in Kenya right now?
I would say there's this podcast by Feminism. I think personally I think it's the biggest podcast in Kenya.
Trimenami, iko na subscribers wangapi?
Director, Feminism iko na podcast ngapi? Iko na subscribers wangapi? 100K. When those people put out an episode, their episodes zina accumulate their episodes do upward of 100K.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
like
amazing.
they are bigger than akina Jimani.
Are they bigger than Kibe?
No, actually I think Kibe was slightly, but unajua Kibe, what Kibe is better at than those guys is Kibe used to put a shit ton of content. So anaweza kuwa na
The guy is relentless.
He used to go live every single day, and then easy like the entire video will be cut into clips and then they'll be posted. Then ungepata hizo zenye ziko posted zinachezea maybe 10K, 5K, 20K, but those guys put an episode out ya 1 hour plus, and within like 48 hours
three men army.
I'll
have to check
within like wanaongea tu Kiswahili by the way. They just wanapatana kwa kiti vile tumekaa hivi, they just talk their shit.
Cause kwenye nimekuja ku notice ni kwa pia in terms of what I had mentioned earlier about the corporate influence. Utapata podcast iko na like 60,000, 50,000 subscribers. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Ina host events, inafanya this thing, iko na all this backing, unaiangalia hivi. But basically the entire conversation in that podcast, even the guys who are in that podcast, are trying to swoon over the women. They're trying to get them.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to tailor make their content.
Trying to tailor, they're lying.
In a target madam.
And this is what is being pushed even by the cause hizo spaces a barber shop and these small spaces zenye una feel zimekuwa infiltrated. Sindio? These are symptoms. The real problem uko at the top, because those people are the ones who are truly orchestrating. Because if it was like a great one was Bud Light. Bud Light was just hilarious. Bud Light is a beer drunk by wanaitwanga in America, I think they're called frat boys or something. Ni mavijana wa mtaa. Those are like 90% of their consumers, sindio? And they went on ahead and they chose a
transgender woman.
What is
he's
just a guy.
He's just a guy.
He's a guy. He has wider shoulders than me.
Basi niliona kona boobs. Anava into those sexy women dresses and akafiti. Like okay, unajua she's white. Okay, he's white.
Unagopa kucanceliwa nini? Unagopa kwa cancel.
Unagopa kwa cancel over such.
They can't cancel you. You're too small to be cancelled.
Bana, like hata hivyo still I wouldn't really be afraid to be cancelled over like kitu yenye na believe in. Like let's say if I was a staunch Christian and I believe in God, and people are cancelling people that believe in God, I'm here to be cancelled. I'll just die with by
God. So check the weapons they use. Like Lumbaga, if we have a problem, I'll address it with you directly.
Yeah.
Sinaona?
Yeah.
Lakini if I start bitching about you behind your back, hiyo ni kitu inaitwa umama.
Yes.
Unaona? Cancel culture ni umama.
Because they don't come to talk to you directly.
Not just that. Yeah. There is a legal system. If this person has broken the law, call the police.
Call the police and we...
Have the people who are not involved in whatever happened follow up on the story. But they don't want that. Wanataka kuku cancel. They tried to cancel Kibe recently.
He's been kicked out of the YouTube program.
He already has 50,000 subscribers already.
I doubt that channel is his. I doubt. I think Kibe is not on YouTube.
He's on YouTube.
There's just another whatever that has been put there. Na ukiangalia hata ni kama anatoa content from akienda live huko maybe X and then they cut kwa his side. But then ikayo ni yake.
He still has the content and at some point he's still involved in spreading the content. Sindio? Because who has the content? Have you downloaded all his videos?
I used to have a few.
Somebody, I mean, download a few. Lakini sasa, who has all these videos from all his backlog? Who is uploading these videos? Now, Kibe was getting like 2,000 to say at most 10,000 views per video. Now he has videos with 100,000 views. Cancel culture.
I think it's the hunger also that now people want to hear. He's not.
Because you cancelled this guy. So many people are not listening to him. Sindio? The people who are behind it were he calls them the corporate punies, the feminists, nini. Hao ndo anasema wako involved. But me, I have no issue with those ones. Sindio? Because I've said it before, it is in their nature to behave like that without any direction. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing and it's also a bad thing. The problem is those men unasema wanaingia into female spaces. The men in that room who are trying to impress the women with their sexual prowess about telling them how they like licking and doing all these things to them. And then they can do foreplay for 30 minutes or for 1 hour or whatever. They don't do these things. But they know if I warm up towards these people, I'll get the rewards, of which they also don't get. And they're too dumb to understand it. Yeah. And the women are not that dumb to fall for that nonsense. Because if the women were so attracted to these men.
I always say this, the easiest way to attract a woman is to figure out these things that they are delusional about. And then do the complete opposite. Be a contrarian. Like you find a guy is trying to impress women. Oh, me, I leak. You just say, I don't leak. It is hideous. It is the most disgusting thing to look at. And best believe there are women seated there. That shit will not leave their mind. And they will be interested more to find out about how disgusting pussy is, because other men do not say it's disgusting. So already, umejiseta set apart from other men. So now it's her looking for an approval or validation from you. So she wants you to come and acknowledge that her pussy is not as disgusting as you're saying.
Hey, Buddha, no manipulation, 1 million.
That is how I know it works. But anyway, as we wind up, you had mentioned to me earlier that you do frequent clubs, like joints za pombe nini, and you noticed that most of these joints, 3/4 of patrons hapo ndani ni wasichana. Like unaingia club, maybe you're going to see a client, and unangalia, when you scan around, you're looking like, hey, my boys hapa wako less kushinda madem. So in a nutshell, like, more women saizi wanaenda kunywa pombe kwa hizi vilabu. Na vile tulianza kuongea kwa tunasema usually hizi spaces kwa zinajulikana tu mostly za maboys. Like kitambo ungeingia kwa club, maboys ndo wengi. Wasichana maybe ni 2 3. Do even then women who used to go to drink alcohol. So what do you say about this?
I think the responsibility of women, they don't take their responsibility maybe at home. Most of them, they feel that they are free and independent. What a woman believes it is having freedom. A freedom to a woman is doing what men do. Do you understand? By a woman's freedom, she wants to do what a man does. So when a woman is doing what a man is doing, she believes now she's free. Okay? But
the sexual liberation. When women, like mostly there's a time feminism was pushing for sexual liberation. Basically what they were pushing for was women should not be judged by being promiscuous, because society does not judge men who sleep around.
And who has that benefited?
It doesn't benefit anyone.
It has benefited men.
Yeah, it benefits men, but it does not benefit women.
Because men are getting sex without the responsibility.
Like an easy access to.
They're getting an easy access. Because what people don't understand is that for the vast majority of our history, men were not getting sex. It was a very small portion of men who were getting sex. You have to work for it. But now, equal.
Like I remember, there are some things that we are ignoring. But if you go back to our cultures, sometimes I normally ask, or I allow myself to go back to our culture. When I was young, my grandfather used to tell me that any woman that you'll make pregnant, she's your wife. And it is your responsibility to take care. One day my grandfather told me this. He told me, when you feel like you want a woman, it's best you marry a woman. Because if you date a woman, but back in the days there were no dating.
It was arrangements.
Just go
Ilikuwa
and
tu
pick.
mnakutana na mna
Unaweka kwa
kwa
nyumba.
kichaka. So he told me,
Unapata mahindi imelala.
Kwa kichaka.
he told me, my grandfather, he was so useful to me. May his soul rest in peace. He told me, if you have this woman and you make her pregnant, maybe you are not at age of getting to marry her, but you must understand she's your wife. After you grow up and then you finish school, you get another one, you make her pregnant, she will be your wife. And then you'll come and marry the original wife. Now you want to settle down. But you have 3 women that you have impregnated. They have your children. Before you pay a dowry for the one that you are having, you must go to the people,
Those who you've
impregnated their daughter, to sit down and discuss, so that they can allow you to pay
dowry to the new wife that you have.
Yeah. No. There is nothing else to be discussed. That the agreement, you go, they tell you what they want. So that you can go on. So I come to your place. After agreeing, I go to his place. So after agreeing, so that I go to the current fiancé that I want to marry. And he told me, do you know when you die, according to our culture, you can never be buried before this guy is being sorted out. And the strangest thing, they can come and ask anything that they want, or maybe the people who will be there, they will not be able to afford what they are asking. Okay? So when they tell you about these things, okay? These things, they give you you have to reason and say, if I mess up this and this, this and this, it will cost me. So I have to make the right choices. Teachings like this, you see? Teachings like this, they make us to be men. Like when I was at tender age, I was maybe in class 7. There's a certain teacher in our class. I have never forgotten that teacher. He called us and he said, men need to talk. And he told us, there is this disease going on by the name of syphilis. And this syphilis is a very dangerous disease. When you go to urinate, there is a string that comes out from your penis. And this string, it will go. It is a long one. And it has to go back so that it can allow you to urinate. And it is so painful, that string, before it comes back. And if somebody just come by accident, cut it, you'll die. Okay? And then he says, we love you so much. We don't want to lose you guys. And then he said, when a man has that disease, that is what happens to that man. And a woman, if she has that disease, she always wants sex. Okay? To infect more men.
Mimi najua kumanipulate.
Okay.
Huyo mwalimu anajua kumanipulate.
Do you know? I was afraid of girls.
Yes, kwambia.
Even
now, ukisikia dema anataka sex unajua huyu ako na syphilis.
Huyu. And he used to tell us, ogopeni wasichana.
Kwanza wenye wanakohoni.
Kwanza wenye wanatoka hii side ya sijui line 7 hivi. I grew up in Kibra here. He was saying, those girls, they sleep with men even for money. And he's saying, referring to the girls we are in the same class. Now I was so afraid. I was so afraid. I was a football player, best football player in our school. I used to score goals. If the ladies, the girls team is playing, like 5 girls, they come to me, they want to wear my shorts, my boots, and my jersey.
So you had pussy all over the place.
So,
but now you're...
But that thing, I grew with it in high school. And after school, I remember I had 5 friends. All of them, they had girlfriends. All of them, except me.
So you took the teachers...
I was just thinking about the syphilis. So there are certain teachings when we are close to our children and we begin to teach them. I don't know the agenda of feminism. It is not good to treat women bad, but feminism has another agenda. There is an hidden agenda. But by what you have been talking, like there are some people who are castrating their children. Why? What is the agenda of the feminism? Why? What is the agenda behind it? There's something fishy going on.
Sana.
Because even women joining us, but I want to support.
We are better together than we are apart. But now you are asking about the nightclubs. Yeah. It goes back. Number one, there's a lot of purchasing power that is unfiltered for the women. So they want it would be better if they could sell alcohol to both men and women. Number two, in the Luya communities, a woman could not drink alcohol unless she was seated between the legs of her husband.
Yeah.
So it was her husband's responsibility to make sure that the woman has a good time, but not too much of a good time. Because akichoma anze kwa mtaro, they won't look at the woman. It was you.
Respect.
It was you, sindio. He's also mentioned the idea of they think that liberation is doing what men are doing. Liberation is not doing what men are doing. Liberation is doing what you want to do. So, what a man can. What a man can do, a woman can also do. What a man can do has already been done. Come up with something of your own. That's how these spaces are being zinaingiliwa. Something I'm following about sana is what's happening in not Haiti, in Hollywood. I love movies, but there's Superman. Now they are writing Supergirl. There's Batman. Now they're writing Batwoman. There's Iron Man. Now they're writing Ironheart. There's Hulk. Now they're writing She-Hulk. There's no creativity. They're not coming up with new superheroes. If you want superheroes for the women, create new superheroes for the women. They are going into every single place. There are actually some. One of the first movies I ever saved money to go and watch was Tomb Raider by by Angelina Jolie. I was in primary school. That was the second one. That was partly shot in Kenya. That was a terrible movie, apparently. But the first one, I saved money. I didn't eat lunch for how long? Because I needed time unapewa 30 bob pa mambao na mzae. And then the movie was 180 shillings. How? So I had to save for at least 9 days on that. Then I had to save money for fare, and I had to save money for food. So IMAX ilikuwa 20th century. Ilikuwa inaitwa 20th century cinema at the time. Hapo Mama Ngina. Inaitwa Mama Ngina? Whatever. Sindio? So, as in, there's a quote I had on the internet by some guy in the manosphere community. He was saying that women without I'm a Jew. He was saying that women without direction end up in destruction. The women are responsible for the children. You as a man are responsible for the woman. Wanipata? That is why when God was punishing Adam, he didn't say because you ate the fruit. He said because you listened to the woman. I gave you a job. I gave you a job.
Yeah.
Sindio, the moment she came with the fruit to you, it was your responsibility to smack that fruit out of her hand. Sindio, tell her to sit down and wait and come and talk to me man to man and say, we have a problem. But you, as the bitch you are, na yo mama ukumejaza kwa akili yako, because Adam was the first bitch. Adam was such a bitch. He went and blamed his wife. He blamed his wife.
Yeah.
That udemu umenipatia.
Unajua
Na wife yako kwa nini hakumforce?
Wife tu alileta.
Unajua nilikuwa na argue hivyo. I was arguing like that kwa kikao ya wanaume. Nikamwambia pale tumefikia as men, we should never try to blame women for maybe for
Yeah.
for how fucked up we are.
Yeah,
Like for example, if I marry a woman who constantly puts me into pressure and bear stress nini, I'm not supposed to sit kwa kikao ya maboy and then they ask me, manze siku hizo nakuanga tu hauna furaha, uko na huzuni nini, and then I start blaming my wife. Unajua bibi yangu ananifanyanga you're a bitch.
Yeah.
You're a bitch. Why are you blaming a woman for your own decisions?
It's a nini ni kitu memeswa say.
So nikaambiwa the guys dismissed me and they said I am just nimesha join ile agenda yenye na intend ku excuse women from their own transgressions.
No, it's not about exclusion. It's about kunini. It's about complaining. Why are you going to complain to other men that
why aren't you taking action?
The thing is, you know what?
Why aren't you taking action?
How it should be? Unafaa kwa in a way that hata wife wako anafaa sema huyu msee ni mkora. I saw a video clip somewhere and I was so happy. It makes my day. Any day I feel bad, I just remember that video clip and then I start smiling and feeling good. The wife was in the house and then she was so disturbed because she was waiting for her husband for 3 days. Okay? And then she was saying the moment her husband comes back, she'll just leave the house and go away. And then the guy came. Do you know what he came? He came with a flower. He came with a drink. Even the wife was trying to tell him, sijui nini. He started showering with her with some money, baby, calling her sweet words. For sometimes you see the imagination is saying, hata kama ni mbaya, huyu jamani gaidi, I love him so much. So women there, you are, if a woman distracts you, or you cannot complain about a woman. What you need to do is to be in control.
So even manly.
You have just to be.
It's not even manly. Like the fact that situations may escalate, zikafika hadi point and you keep bitching about your own woman. There is something you're not doing as a man. That's why all you can do now is complain about your own woman. There's something.
And it could have started from the beginning.
Yes.
Because hauwezi badilisha umbwa kwako ikwe German Shepherd.
Yes.
But
me, what I normally say, if there is a chance, you can make it to correct it. When you learn you're doing a mistake, you can correct it.
Can you really earn the respect of a woman back?
Guys, hii conversation naona ikiendelea na director bana ameshinda akiscream hata najua amechoka. So
director ako na umama. Ana complain kwa nini?
So I feel
lakini director ifai akuwa na umama.
Afai kwa na umama.
Umadam at least.
So I feel like tutaendelea na hii conversation next. We'll invite a few women watuambie what's the motivation behind them invading our spaces, if I may use that word. And then tuone hiyo conversation ikiendelea wapi.
Haina tabu.
See, until then.
But kuna before you go, kuna kitu nataka speak to a man. To speak to a man mwenye anaweza kuwa na listen. Ni responsibility yetu kama uko na mtoi, uko there for him. Na teach morals zenye zinafaa. Juu nakumbuka it is easier to train a child than mtu mwenye amesha grow up na ku make decisions. Most men they are absent in their children's lives, but wanataka kwanza kumwambia venye atafanya akisha kwa mtu mwenye ana make decisions zake. So nililani hiyo kitu kutokana kwa the letter that King Leopold of Belgium wrote to the missionaries. Aliwaambia when they were spreading gospel for the young people, not for the older people. Yeah, so the young will grow wakiwa wameenda the other direction. And then nimelan kitu kutoka kwa hiyo anasema fathers were not at home when Kikuyu children were growing, so there were nobody to teach them their culture. Understand?
They were in the bush fighting.
So ukishafika mkubwa, there is nothing you can do it. So I can just kindly, hata kama you are disagreeing with the lady or what, kuna ma single mother wako huko na kuna watoi wako huko, by the nini wachana na story mob and ucheki mtoi wako. Na usizoe kupea
But
madhara pesa mnunulie nguo peke yake.
But
Pia wewe mpeleke shopping.
Nafurahia hii conversation ameanza. I've seen even other men, hata kwa hizo vikao mi hudhuria time, they're actually encouraging other men to not be deadbeats. Like try to be present in your child's life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the message, which is a very good message.
Yeah.
It's a very good message. Like even if you have a stubborn baby mama, anakusumbua tu hataki uone, try as much as you can. Wewe uko tu present kwa life ya huyo mtu.
Utakuwa hapo until the government comes in between them. But that's a story for another day.
Anyway, guys, that's all for today. As you can see, hii conversation haikai kuisha sahi. So we can always carry it from where we left it and tell us what you think about it. Until next time.